In fact, the scripture gives this warning in Ezekiel 22 and 26, her priests do violence to my instruction and profane my holy things. They make no distinction between the holy and the common, and they do not explain the difference between the clean and the unclean. They disregard my Sabbaths, and I am profaned among them. And the result is seen in Ezekiel 22:31, where he says, so I have poured out my indignation on them and consumed them with the fire of my fury. I have brought their actions down on their own heads. And so, friend, this is the declaration of the Master Yahweh. And so, Uzzah's intent, it was good, but Yahweh's instructions and teachings warned against touching the ark, as we've already pointed out in Numbers chapter 4, verse 15. And so Yahweh's holiness, friend, it demands obedience. And our position in relation to the ark and in relation to his presence, it should always be one of reverence and honor. And the lesson that I believe we can take away from this is that good intentions does not excuse ignoring Yahweh's commands, teachings, and instructions for how we are to worship him and how we are to approach him. In daily life, friend, even partial obedience, it's nothing more than compromise and disobedience. And we must never make the mistake of regarding the holy as common. And before someone blows up in the comments, I'm not talking about perfection here. But we're talking about a heart that is turned toward Yahweh and seeking to honor Yahweh with all that we have. But this mistake was costly, which leads us to our next point, and that is David's fear and reflection. So let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 6, verse 8, where it says, David was angry because of Yahweh's outburst against Uzzah, so he named that place an outburst against Uzzah, as it is today. David feared Yahweh that day and said, how can the ark of Yahweh ever come to me? David was angry, then afraid, halting the entire process. But this moment, it marked a turning point here. Initially, David became angry because Yahweh's judgment disrupted his well-intentioned celebration, we might call it. And the place was named Uzzah, or outburst against Uzzah, to this day memorializing this divine breach, if you will, that interrupted the entire procession. And so his anger, it reflects his frustration and his confusion. Why would Yahweh respond so severely during an event that was meant to honor him? Yet anger, it quickly gave way to holy fear. David recognized the weight of Yahweh's holiness and the danger of approaching his presence casually or incorrectly. And we must remember that as the king, it would have been his responsibility to conduct his kingship according to the standards of the Elohim of Israel, Yahweh, which is found in his Torah, which David neglected and failed to consult.